Hi, welcome everybody. Bonnie Collins. I'm the farm business manager and the ag team leader for a program at CCE, Cornell Cooperative Extension in Oneida County. It's an honor to be here and to be part of this National Conference for Women, Food, and Agriculture Network. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to look at a film today that's called Finding Hope in Farmland. It was produced by Sarah Gardner, who is the producer, and she is on the call with us, and David Simmons, who is the director of this program. Okay, very simple agenda here. We're going to preview the film. We're going to talk about a few things before we get into the film. Then we're going to look at the film, which is a 15-minute presentation. And then I'd really love to use this film to hear your response to it, to have some conversation. If you're an educator, if you're a farmer, or even when we're into the learning more and more is we're bringing to the top of the table about diversity and equity in our communities. So thank you very much. So what can a film teach us? What do you think? We can unmute or we can put in the chat box. Any ideas? I can't see the chat box on, so if you can read those or.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. I put it in the chat. I was the one who chatted it.
Great. So it can open us to other stories and perspective. Perfect. And I think Emma, Sarah's having a little issue with getting her audio. Oh, it looks like she's got it connected now. So great.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we're rolling. We are recording. And one of the questions I have up on the screen is, what can a film teach us? What can a documentary teach us? What can a story teach us? So I just really wanted some input on that as we look through it.
Great.
Okay. So I'm going to keep going. Okay. So we had some in the chat, but it's really, I found that when I look at a movie or, try to think about ourselves, how can we develop our own views after we view something and a story has been told to us. And I really think a powerful film, if you have not, those that are in the conference that have not seen The Ant and the Grasshopper yet, that's a great film that the conference has available to, I guess it's up till today, but if you have the opportunity to look at that, an hour film, another great way to challenge our view on something. And that particular film and documentary was on really climate change and how it moves us. And I think the next quote I have here is, can it inspire us? And I hope it would, even if it makes us angry, even if it makes us happy, even if it makes us confused. That's what I think films and documentaries should do for us. And that's my take on that. So anybody else want to add to that? Sarah, so I'm looking at the panel. We got Sarah Gardner, who's the producer of this film, and Mary Ellen Wiley, who also is a farm business manager in our community, and Alicia Zombek, who you also see in the film, that was part of the production and in this group that we worked with. Does anybody want to add to that? Panel, please do.
Bonnie, I think you laid out some good questions, and is the plan then to watch the film and then have a discussion?
I had a tiny agenda up just before you got in, and it was, we're going to have a pre-film discussion, and we're going to look at the film, and then we're going to have a post-film discussion about that's what our goal is today to try to accomplish. So does anybody want to add to any of the bullet points here on the team? I'm going to keep moving on here. find the right screen. There we go. Okay. So what can a film teach us? Some other comments I kind of came up with was I think a film is deeper than the images. It lies in our subconscious, no matter the perspective we can take from the film. We can't focus on one viewpoint without tapping on others. Again, holistically, as we look at human beings, when we do see something in front of our eyes or watch any kind of film or even the news, or we're seeing stuff that the media is portraying, it kind of taps into us if we're paying attention. It doesn't mean it's going to move us to action or do anything, but at least it taps into our unconscious, our subconscious, which I think is fabulous. So good documentaries offer given a voice to the voiceless. And I think kind of that's what our film did. And from the larger experience of nations to those of smaller towns and tribes. And the Somali Bantu is a specific tribe. And this film can shed light on cultures from around the world. So we really appreciate the great work that these filmmakers, I do, appreciate the great work that they're doing. So with more than 65 million people around the world being forcibly displaced due to war, climate change, and famine, we are experiencing the largest refugee crisis since the Second World War. We live in upstate New York, central New York, and we have something called the Center. It is for refugees, and we are the 5th largest in the country taking in refugees. And because what has just happened in Afghanistan, we have probably about 150, I believe, that will be coming to our city. And I think our city should be really proud of how we help those refugees and honor them coming into our community. And Alicia, which I'm sad to say, left Cornell Cooperative Extension, but she is now working at the center. And Alicia, I wonder if I could give you a little bit of time here. Do you want to you have any updates or anything you can tell us on how we're doing?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Can, thank you.
Perfect. Yep. So you are right, Bonnie. There's 150 Afghanistan refugees that will be coming into Utica, New York, within the next 4 months. So it's a very quick amount, and then the country itself is going to be seeing more. I mean, the thing is, we're having a lot of issues where they're being placed in military bases that maybe aren't winterized, and winter's coming, so we're really trying to get as many as possible. I've met some in the last few weeks, so starting out at the center, which is very sad, leaving Cornell Extension and my team there for 5 years, and then joining here. But I figure that's where we can continue collaborating on the work we have been doing. So it's great. We've seen so many refugees in the last 40 years at the center coming through Utica, and it's been really exciting to see how much the city itself has and the county itself has really welcomed them and built this diversity here in central New York.
Great, thank you so much. Might as well get it from the person that's there, so thank you for doing that. So we are on to the film. Now I hope this is going to work. So. Can you see the beginning of the film?
Nope.
Okay, so I probably have to stop sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. About now.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yep.
I think once I started, I'll be able to open the screen a little bit larger. So I'm just going to start there. We good?
There's no volume.
Oh.
Oh, right. I should have reminded you to share sound. Sorry.
Yep. And I was told that, guys. I'm sorry.
Maybe we should go back to the beginning.
I will.
Okay.
I will. Just give me share sound. share screen. How about now? Sound?
Yes, perfect.
Thank you. So what's happening out here right now is we're working with Somali Bantu refugee population out of the city of Utica.
And they say, yeah, and I think Cornell Cooperative will be helpful to you. And they say, you know what, let us introduce you to Bonnie.
Tell me what you want to do. They wanted a farm. So we had like a focus group with them. They want to grow vegetables. I said, great. They were so organized. They knew what they wanted. I knew I had a structure in place.
It took us maybe 3 years, 4 years just to get to where we are today. But finally, we got where we wanted to be.
So Cornell Cooperative Extension is a nonprofit organization that is a part of a land-grant university, which is Cornell University in New York. I happen to be in the ag department, so that's where my division is.
You know, agriculture is the #1 industry in the county. In terms of the Somalis, and it really adds to the whole, again, fabric of agriculture.
We're educators, so that's what my job is. I had an opportunity to teach Somali Bantu how to farm in the Northeast, and we want to learn from them some things that they can show us that maybe I can pass on to our farmers also.
We do appreciate the help that we received from the Cornell Cooperative because we couldn't have done this by ourselves.
Backstory, where they came from and what they're up against, but what they were willing to do to overcome that. We all got a lesson to learn from that.
The Somali Bantu, they used to live in peace. They were farmers and they rely on farming. And there was like the Shebele River, there's Juba. Over there they used to grow corn, beans, watermelon, coconut, banana. Basically they had everything that they needed. But when the war broke, things changed. There was some rebels and there's some killings, so it was a disaster.
When the civil war has happened and my family run everywhere somewhere, me and my 2 brothers and my dad run. So they killed my father and one of my brother, same night, and they shot me, my leg. The night my father died, I got a shot. They leave me like I'm died.
They claim to be the ownership of the country. They said, okay, we are the owners, we own the land, we own the farmland, we own everything, we own you. It's like, you're our slave right now.
I was outside shopping, and the rebels, they shot me to get my belongings. They usually kill us, but I was lucky because they let me go. The Somali Bantu, we are farmers, but something unexpected happened, and it is very hard to forget.
I'm not in Somalia, my people in Somalia, and we are a majority. We are living good place. We are the farmers, giving the food all Somalian, but we are nothing now.
I had 2 sons. The rebels came and tied my hands behind my back, and they took my 2 boys. I gave in to them so they wouldn't kill my boys. I was raped that day.
They weren't looking to migrate. It wasn't their life dream. Something terrible happened and they were forced to flee their home. Many of them lost everything, have suffered really kind of unthinkable atrocities, and find themselves in many cases on the other side of the world now, but safe and really eager to contribute.
And you look at everything they lost, no ownership in anything. And they wanted a farm. They came from an agrarian society and they wanted to get back on the land.
American help us, really. We appreciate it. We American now. We are taxpayers. We farmers. And we American Somalian now.
And the process of leasing land with this large community took a long time.
When that first farmer really denied the land to these people, I really have to open my eyes because it's a reality. Issues about, okay, who is this community? You're bringing them into our community, not quite sure if they were comfortable with it. And we started to understand our own bias, and that really helped me, I have to say, as an educator.
We had some key people come together. We had the Somali Bantu elders join us, as well as this really great peace team. The Law School of Food and Beverage director, Jonathan Brown, and his 2 students. They've been working on the legal documents for the lease.
Now we have this signed lease with the landlord.
Being able to have a piece of land that they can put their hands in and grow again after all they've been through is really remarkable.
Today was a very special day for us because we know about farming, and signing the lease for the farmland was a great step for us.
There's a culture that's out there that there's fear, and fear is something that if you don't expose yourself to it, it just builds. And I think Utica's, we don't have that fear. We're able to talk, to have dialogue, to see where someone's coming from. And I can go back to almost 100 years ago when my ancestors came from Italy. This became their home, and at the same time you had the Poles, the Germans, the Irish, everyone coming into a community which is known as Utica. When we look at 100 years moving forward and we have our refugees coming in here and our immigrants, and people want to know why we're so, warm and giving, it's because we've been through this before. It's the rebirth of our city. We see it as absolutely a positive. It's just building the bridges. That's all it is. It's communication.
Many things get said about refugees, that they're more likely to commit crime, that they are on welfare forever. There are all sorts of rumors and accusations about this group of people which are not true.
And we need to be prepared, I think, as educators to address that when we go moving forward, because we care about all the people in our community.
Upstate New York went through very difficult times. Unfortunately, a lot of the jobs either went south or went out of our country.
In Utica's case, and in cities across upstate, if you look at the Thruway Corridor, and if you look at Rust Belt cities in general, where you had massive population loss. In Utica's case, we were a city at our height of about 110,000. And then in the 80s and 90s, dropped below 60,000. They want to build a life here. They believe in the American dream. Many of them work multiple jobs. Their kids are highly motivated to succeed because they see what their parents have sacrificed. They want to belong, they want to contribute, and they're grateful to be here, but being a refugee is stressful. Nobody would choose it. And yet they come here, they pour everything they are into our community, and you can see it if you look at the shops that are opened, if you look at the houses that are revitalized on the streets where they live.
The refugee population has added to the vibrancy and the overall makeup and the overall character, if you will, of Oneida County.
But now we are happy as the people in Utica, Somali Bantu. We are very happy.
In Utica, I've only experienced people helping me. I have not experienced people pushing me down or discriminating against me.
So with the help and a lot of work of other folks and other community members helping me, we got this piece of land, and this is the first acre we have open of the earth this year. One, the most important thing is to feed their family and maybe some things that they have grown in their home country but couldn't grow here. We're going to see if we can try to do that. And then eventually we hope to teach them maybe some marketing skills to maybe sell their extra products at a farmer's market and help our whole community. So that was the goal of this whole thing.
If you need to get somewhere, you have to be patient. You can't just assume things go like this, like magic. It doesn't happen. You have to work for it.
Make it hasil.
This earth has many components. There is sand, rock, brown and black soil, and there is clay, all mixed together.
So as a Somali Bantu, we are farmers. A farm for us is the main resources. As long as we can find even 1 acre of a farm, that brings us memories because our main culture or our main resource was farm. The children, they will do what they see, you know, whatever they inherit from us, we want it to be something effective and positive, you know. We don't want to leave anything negative behind.
Oh, now it's a Somali Bantu style. Now it's a North Sea American style. This is my country. This line you see up there, my country, you make it like this one. Yeah. You say, yeah, today you help, I help you tomorrow. Today me help. Okay, he said this family, son, boy, father, woman, he come into, you got it. One day maybe finish, and next day you remember go over there.
For us, when you're 5 years old, you are strong enough to go harvest with your parents. They teach you how to farm. And the farmland is more like a teaching place for the youth right now. We have little kids over here, they don't even know where their food is coming from. So having the farmland, that will introduce to them, this is where your carrot is coming from, this is where your beans are coming from, this is how we grow.
So I usually have like a sifter, like a net. I'm using this. I would just look, see. So eggplant, tomato, pepper, one family.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are now farmers, and that's part of the agricultural department and ag economic development. That is our goal, to work with our farmers.
Agriculture is a key piece, and their contributions to it is a key piece. And the fact that the Somali Bantu can be a part of it. You know, people see a different side of Oneida County that maybe they didn't see before.
Compared to what I see in the future, this is like 5% or 10%. And everything is possible because we started from nothing to something, you know? I said this is like 5%. So if we started from 0 to 5, you know? So it takes time.
So they had an amazing harvest of like radishes and beets and lettuce and kale. I was able to find a really great open source organic corn, and it's a corn that they're used to in Africa. It's not sweet corn, it's maize corn. And then we talk about even value added. So they're gonna dry that corn and they're gonna grind it.
We have fresh tomatoes produced with my own hand. So I'm very happy, and it brings back memory of our country.
They're selling okra, they're selling collards, they have bok choy.
We're excited about that, and I'm a master gardener, so I'm willing to learn from them so I can bring it back to our group too, or they're going to be able to teach it to us. So the whole realm of educating is what's really important to all of us at Extension, and that's what we're here for. And that's what our community dollars are for.
This is more than enough for our family. So the rest goes to the community, and we also sell to our neighbors.
We were able to kind of establish some funds and money to help them get started on the community market.
It's no secret that, you know, the public markets adds to the focus of what we've done with agriculture here, and why it's so important, whether it's in the city of Utica or in the town of New Hartford or in the town of Marcy, Floyd, wherever.
Now we feel like we are at home because even the neighbors, they are a little somewhat different. They are Americanized. This is their country. But we don't feel like where there's a race problem or whatever, they welcome us. Every time they see us, they raise their hand, say hi, you know, they're happy, they're smiling.
My name is Abdurrahman Elmi. We make like this one. Like this. We make like this. Tomorrow I want to sell the market. Then, now it's done. Now it's done. We go home now. Wow, everybody happy.
A little reflection here.
Are you back, Bonnie?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes.
All right. I'm supposed to have my screen slideshow up again. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. So reflection. Oops. Let me move that. Yeah. So a couple of questions I have up on the screen to kind of ponder. I'd like to hear from other folks. I'll share some of my thoughts the first time I saw the film, but things we want to think about here. Did you learn anything from this film? And if you did, what was it?
If no one has any comments, I thought I might say a few things about it. Is that okay, Bonnie?
It's a panel discussion here. I'm just driving. That's all. We're in the car all together and we're going to talk. So go ahead, please.
I learned a lot making the film. Of course, it was a 3-year process because it took a long time to get this farm, up and running. It was a complicated process, and I just wanted to say that I'm reminded in watching it again how this whole thing happened because Bonnie and Alicia were so incredibly enthusiastic and persistent in the face of untold obstacles. And the community was enthusiastic too, but there were a lot of hurdles along the way where you could have thrown up your hands and given up. And I think it was just through sheer force of your will that that you pulled it off and that it's continuing today. So that's what I learned upon watching it again.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. The thing I wanted to share with the group, like the first time I saw a draft of the finished product, even though I was part of it, I never really knew the backstory, the killing and the stuff that went on. You read it, you hear about it, but then to see it and listen to their own words. I know I was, and I think Alicia did too. We actually were in tears about it, not realizing how strong that this community was to work. It was their persistence. It was what they wanted to do. And they kind of brought us along with them. So to that point, Sarah, they lifted us up to, to do it.
I'm going to jump in here.
Please.
Yeah, great. And I really think the words you use is perfect, and their persistence, and development with this farm, I think was something that I noticed that they've strived for, keeping the culture of who they are as, this tribe that were farmers of this land, and that persistence, but also persistence within becoming one with their new land and making it work. So this is who they are, which I thought was came through very well.
Yeah, what I really liked was that this is like community engagement and like citizen power at its finest. Because like the Somali Bantu community was basically like, what do you want to do? And they said, here's what we want to do and kind of how we want to do it. And it was clear that they were at the helm the entire time. So I appreciated that.
Anybody else? I mean, I just put some questions up here to make us think about it a little bit more. The other thing I wanted to share was I think we had a document for folks about the timeline that it took us to really get through that, and not to, there's where that persistence, kind of paid off. Just keep going and trying to find how to do what they want to do. And if you noticed at the end of the film that they have moved to a new piece of land, and a great farm husband and wife team that are really supportive. But again, the issue was that we heard was the communication with them. that you need, we have to do the translation, which is tough to do when you're farming with them because, they plowed up the land for them and put down plastic. Well, maybe they don't want plastic. We don't know. We don't know that. So the communication is like really important to all of this. So I see Morgan on here. Do you want to share anything, or are you a farmer? Are you an educator? I'm just curious.
Hi, yeah. I actually work for a nonprofit in Vermont, and I actually work in the event coordinating side of everything. But I'm really engaged with EEI work within my nonprofit, and so this jumped out to me. And something that I think really struck me was how human and relatable the entire experience seemed to be. And I guess my brain sort of goes to this place of, it was a beautiful story, and it seemed like these folks were so supported in their community and were really empowered. But what about all the places that are not so supportive, and these folks are where they are struggling? And so my brain is sort of thinking about that and how more places can be like Utica is sort of what I'm sitting with and reflecting on.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, because what you really didn't see in the film, and that's why I want to just have an honest and open conversation. Yeah, the film's reflecting something, but there's always even a backstory to the story. That we had an experience where, we were trying to find land in the community. It was on the outskirts of the urban, the city. And Alicia had a contact with somebody, and then, they said, yeah, we got the land, but then they realized it wasn't for Alicia. It was for a different community. They backed off. So we do have that. It's not everybody's coming along. It's not all happy, go lucky. We know that. And again, as educators, that's something really what the take of our film was we're glad we got to tell the Somali Bantu story, but is having the educators have conversations about what challenges you may be coming up against. There were a lot of challenges in the beginning for us to get there, or to get here, should I say. So
yeah,
much appreciated. Alicia?
Do you all hear me? Do you hear me better now? Is that okay?
Yes, we do.
Sound good?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. Sorry, I had an emergency vet visit, so I'm on the road while I'm presenting. My apologies. But just to go back on the land piece, that has been something that I think Bonnie and I noticed right away. Just the challenges of welcome, people are okay and welcoming until it's it's in my backyard kind of thing. I also noticed that this film has been a really great way. And also I think Bonnie, myself, Mary Ellen, Sarah and David, just those that are supporting the Somali Bantu, when we're in action supporting, I noticed the actions and the visual of us action and working with the community, and then those getting to know who we are has really helped others pitch in. So I know during the market days of the Somali Bantu, my father-in-law was watching Mike and I, my husband, going and providing excess food for them, and adding to the market with our own extra bum crop. And he got really excited. Then he was telling, and he's middle-aged, older, farmer on his way to retire. And I hear him talking to my uncles or other people in the neighborhood saying, yeah, we're going to donate. This is great. This is what they're doing. And the excitement came from it was almost, like a ripple effect. The excitement came about helping. And so I think the visual and the action and the connection that Cornell Cooperative Extension had with Somali Bantu has really been such a big pivotal movement towards getting others to see, but we did struggle really. I mean, we struggled a lot to get land for them because of the difficulty of those wanting to kind of jump in and get in there. So I'm glad that we saw change, from others through the process.
And Alicia, I'll add to that too, because I think we told the community in the beginning, as we were learning about their culture and the structure of their culture, which we had to do, was, what? Let's do it. Let's show them. And that's what I think our actions show. And we were, blessed to have the opportunity to really have it become a film so we can tell that story wider and reach more people. But again, it's that one-on-one connection. Again, it all goes back to communicating one-on-one, communicating with a film, a documentary, and the power of it, I think, has been fabulous.
I just want to say that it's not like you set up the farm, you got the land lease, and then you're done. I think pretty sure, Bonnie, there's going to be a continuing, ongoing, permanent relationship with Cornell Cooperative Extension and the community surrounding the farm. Is that how you understand it?
Yeah, yes, we do, definitely. And we kind of told them once the farm got going, Alicia and I were saying, okay, you're a beginning farmer, just like the rest of our farmers in our community. We're here, we're going to support, it's your farm. And Alicia will share with you that they kept thinking the farm was ours, CCE's, Cooperative Extensions. And we're going, no, it's your farm. We supported you. And now we're getting the film. The other thing the film did for us was the other communities or groups of like Latinos are saying, well, we want to farm, we want to do this. So again, an opportunity to use this medium to get out there that Extension's here. And we're here to support you. We have a lot of educational components. And as you can see in the film and some of those photos, again, English was not their first language. So how was Alicia going to teach them soil health unless we had a hands-on experiment or we had pictures of what we were doing? That's part of it. So I think the value in that is showing.
Mm-hmm. So are you going to pursue another community farm with another community in Utica then?
I'm working on something with American Farmland Trust for urban agriculture. And then we're kind of taking it that step, but the Latino community is somebody that's also interested in, doing what the Somali Bantu did. So yes, we will be pursuing that and going after that. But again, it was a way to enlighten what Extension's here. It's their county dollars, their taxpayers, as you heard them say, like anybody else. And our services are at no cost for them to do that. And we already reached out to the Somali Bantu when we did a showing back in October that we want to have monthly meetings about continuing on how we're going to plant, what we're going to do, and just we have to keep engaged. That's the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts or comments? I know the session was supposed to go to according to my time, to 10:30, but I'm not going to keep people, that's for sure, if there's no more comments. Emma, I believe this recording is going to be posted on your conference. Is that how it's going to work?
Yep, that's right. I'm recording right now.
Yeah. So the other thing was there were so many great things in this conference. I even put myself on to go to something at 9 o'clock. I said, oh, can't do that. I'm going to be trying to present here. So, and I just want to share some of the exposure, and Sarah and Alicia, let me know if I'm up to date on this screening here, but I hope the film at least made you think about it. So, we did, this is a list of the presentations that have been done so far. We have Sarah doing it again for a national conference next Monday for a group. And then Cornell University reached out to me. I spoke with them on Monday, and they are trying to bring it to the university in whole. So Sarah, I will keep you updated on that. Have a conversation. And I apologize. We did have one of the Somali Bantu members that was going to join us today. And things happen, and Alicia and I learned patience. I know very well when you're working with a different, a group of people, should I say, any group of people, it doesn't matter who they are, to do that. So again, Morgan, I know you might be interested. So here's my contact information. By all means, please reach out if there's anything we can do to help you, support you, and just knowing about the community and how we got through it and some of the challenges that we had. And that's not what this was about at this conference. It was really to share the film and to have some open conversation.
Yeah, I do really appreciate it, and thank you. The film really was a beautiful start to the whole conference and the whole day. And I think my last thought that I wanted to share is I really appreciated how the education between the Somali Bantu and you all was both ways. You were not just trying to teach them how to do whatever it was, but you were really willing to engage and learn from them as well. And I think that's the only way forward. So I just appreciate that as well, and all your time and the work that went into it.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Bonnie, do you want to tell people where they can access the film? Is it going to be linked from your website? From the CCE website?
Yeah, we haven't put it up there yet because we finally got that final version from David yesterday.
Right.
And I realized I spelled David's last name on that first slide wrong. So I will correct that.
Okay.
And Sarah, Sarah, you're welcome. If you want the slides for Monday, you're welcome to take it and change it up if you'd like. It's up to you. I'm not sure what you were going to do, but yeah, it's going to be on the Cornell Cooperative Extension website. Will be the link for this. You know, we had a couple issues how to get it out of box. Like I said, I couldn't even put it into this platform because it was too large to do.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Great. Thank
Great.
you all.
Thank
coming.
you all for starting a great day, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.